Hey friends, how are you guys doing today? I hope you're doing so well. Welcome back to another brands video. I make a lot of these brands videos where I will take a look across the board at brands that resell really well for great money on Poshmark, eBay, Depop, Mercari, all of the platforms, and we take a look and see what brands are worth picking up at the thrift store to thrift and resell. I'm a full-time reseller and YouTuber as well, and so I go through and I find these brands for you so that way if you're out in the wild, you'll recognize the tags as they come across your path. I have been burned, so many people have been burned by not knowing what a tag meant, not knowing what brand it represented, and so I make these videos to help educate you, but also to help you in your pursuit of finding quality pieces at thrift stores, because I feel like that is a worthy endeavor. And I'm going to, as we go through each of these 50 brands, these 50 fall and winter brands today, I'm going to include a picture of the clothing label, the tag that you would find on these pieces as you come across them. So that way you can recognize them when you come across them in the thrift store or at any of these places that you might be reselling and thrifting. So let's jump into it. We've got 50 brands today. It's gonna be a good one. So make sure you guys hit subscribe because I make a lot of these videos. If you guys enjoy them, they are a ton of work. So hitting subscribe would be a great way to support my channel. Okay, here we go. Brand number one is Dale of Norway. This is an amazing brand to thrift and resell. I have found it a few times, but every time I do, it has sold for great money, over $75. So this brand, for fall and winter, I'm looking for sweaters, especially from this brand. That's what they're kind of most well known for. They have a lot of like Fair Isle prints or just like Nordic inspired pieces, lots of great fabric content in these as well. And a lot of times these sweaters, especially right now heading into fall and winter, these are selling for around $100, if not more. It just depends on what piece you find. A bigger size, obviously, you're probably gonna get more money for than a smaller size, but I love this brand. Dale of Norway is a great one to be finding, and anything that looks even in the same kind of vein where it's Fair Isle, where it looks like it's a sweater made out of a great fabric content, a lot of those pieces, even if it's not Dale of Norway, will resell for good money. Number two is DM. DM makes really expensive shoes and boots, so they retail for hundreds of dollars, and a lot of these are reselling right now for a great amount of money. DM, a lot of them are selling for $100 and up, some of them a couple $100s, and so this is one that I didn't really know of. It's not one that you're gonna find all the time, but again, a purpose of these videos is to make you aware of lots of different brands, so that way, if you do find them once in a while, you'll know what they are and you'll pick them up. So DM would be an amazing brand to find. Same thing with Mackage. Mackage makes a lot of really nice outerwear pieces. So we're gonna see a theme across the board with all of these brands that outerwear, jackets, coats, puffers, things like that are going to sell for a lot of good money from most of these brands. So Mackage is one of those where if you found a coat or a jacket, like a puffer jacket, they'll resell for $100 or more. It just depends on what you find. But Mackage is one that I feel like not a lot of people know that brand, but it's a really good reselling brand. And it's very similar to a few other ones that we'll come across on this brand as we go down the list. Number four is Todd Snyder. This is a menswear brand, and a lot of their pieces are really high quality. So especially in this coming season, fall and winter, I'm looking for pants, I'm looking for outerwear. A lot of those pieces will resell for close to $100. It just depends on what you find and the fabric content, the size. There's a lot of factors that go into it. But I think it's also notable that they have two collabs, and collabs sometimes do well, sometimes don't, but Todd Snyder collabs do really well. So they have a collab with Champion, and I never pick up Champion, but the Todd Snyder collab with Champion, those pieces still resell for $50 and up. The Todd Snyder and LL Bean collab also sells for around $50 and above. So some things to be aware of when it comes to Todd Snyder. I would always be looking things up, especially even if they're like a collab, they could be worth good money still. Number five is Burton, and sometimes Burton can sit for quite a while. But the category I'm thinking here is like snowboarding, skiing, specialized pieces, outerwear pieces, coats and jackets. I would skip a lot of Burton pieces that are not very substantial or unique, or just like a high quality coat, because a lot of those pieces aren't going to sell. But I'm talking more about like those specialized pieces, a Burton ski coat or something like that. Something that you can use for snowboarding, things like that still sell well, $50 plus, sometimes $100 plus for Burton. Number six is Canada Goose. I would love to thrift me some Canada Goose sometime. Canada Goose is one of those very expensive outerwear brands. Even if you found like a hat from Canada Goose, a lot of those sell for like $50 and up, sometimes $100. But any jackets or coats or puffers, things like that from this brand will resell for over $100, over a couple $100 sometimes. So Canada Goose is one I always have to talk about when we're talking about fall and winter because they are very expensive and they sell super well, especially like I would say on eBay, Canada Goose pops off. Number 7 is Apparis, which is an interesting brand. A lot of their premise, at least from what I gather, is they make a lot of fluffy, like faux fur coats and accessories, slippers, hats, scarves. A lot of it is like fluffy. So it's very interesting. And a lot of these pieces sell for good money. A lot of the coats will resell for $100, but a lot of their accessories, even like their hats that are fluffy, like a fluffy bucket hat and a pair of slippers, all of those were selling for like around $50 as well, which I think is great. A little crazy, but great. So Apparis is one that I would have on my radar. It's also sold at places like Revolve and Nordstrom. And so Apparis, that's number 7. Number 8 is Arc'teryx. And anything from this brand generally does pretty well. Like even I sold a polo once for like $40 or so. But especially their outerwear, in their bags, their backpacks, if you find them, a jacket would do great. A lot of these will resell for around $100. Number 9 is Alo Yoga. Alo Yoga is one of those brands that I personally love this brand. I think they're amazing and they really, I feel like have taken over the Lululemon space in a lot of people's minds and hearts. And they make some really nice pieces, very high quality. They're very popular Accolade series, their sweatshirts and sweatpants. All of those will sell for around $50, sometimes more. But what I'm specifically looking at here is their jackets and coats. A lot of them retail for hundreds of dollars, even though this is more of like an activewear brand. And those pieces will also sell for over $100. So anything outerwear related, if you're looking and you find like a jacket, or even they have these shrugs that are really popular for women that would resell for over $100. So some pieces from Alo Yoga can be worth a lot of money, so I would not count it out. Number 10 is a brand that I personally love, and that is Quince. I have seen so many good Quince pieces selling for so much money, especially when we start looking at the bags, at the shoes, at the sweaters. And Quince has really high quality pieces. They have cashmere, they have so many things, and they cut out the middlemen. And today's video is actually in partnership with Quince, which I am so excited about. So even the sweater that I'm wearing today, this is from Quince, and this is a cashmere short sleeve sweater. I love the stripes. I think it's so classy. If you're looking for classy pieces, Quince is definitely your place. They allowed me to pick out a few pieces and they just have so many different things. I picked out this adorable sweater and I got a new carry-on suitcase, which is such high quality. I am shocked by it. I love the color. I love that it has a lock on the top of it. It spins so well. All of the built-in storage is amazing. And I'm so impressed by their price points. I think that's the biggest thing about Quince that I absolutely adore is that they cut out middlemen, but they still maintain their high quality. And so the price is so much cheaper than it would be at any other store. And it's really similar to a lot of other places that charge a ton more for their pieces. Not only did I pick out my sweater and my carry-on suitcase, but I also got a beautiful pair of black leather boots. I've been on the hunt for a really classic pair of leather boots that I can wear in this upcoming fall and winter. I wore these to church on Sunday and I got a lot of compliments on them. I am so impressed with the quality of them and they are beautiful. They feel like butter. I'm so happy with them. And I've also bought many things from Quince with my own money as well. The dress that I wore to a YouTube event this last year, I picked a dress from Quince and I absolutely love that dress. It's one of my favorites. I also got sheets from Quince that we use on our bed. I also have a pot from Quince that I got to match my other pans that are all from Caraway, and it matches perfectly. It is an amazing quality, but half the price of what I would pay for anything else from the other brand. Quince is such an amazing brand. They have everything from home goods to clothing to kids pieces. I am obsessed with them and I'm so happy to be working with them on today's video. I'll link all of the pieces that I personally own or have bought from Quince down below so you guys can take a look. And if you follow any of those links to their website, then you'll also be helping to support my channel. But definitely go check out Quince because they have so much to offer and such great, incredible quality. But yes, anything from Quince, back into brands to resell, a lot of their pieces will resell for amazing money as well. So if you find them out and about, I've been picking them up like crazy lately, and they've been doing really well for me reselling as well. Brand number 11 is Jenny Kane, a very expensive brand with really high quality items as well. And honestly, the quality between Jenny Kane and Quince is pretty similar, but Quince is a lot cheaper. But if you find Jenny Kane while you're out thrifting, it's a great brand to pick up to resell because a lot of the pieces, sweaters, jackets, especially substantial pieces, will resell for over $100, sometimes hundreds of dollars. So it's definitely a brand to know. Brand number 12 is Rudsack. I'm pretty sure it's Rudsack. But Rudsack pieces will resell for hundreds of dollars. They're jackets and coats, they're puffers. Such a great brand to know to resell. Very unassuming tag, but great brand. And these pieces going into fall and winter, an amazing pickup if you see them. Number 13 is Moncler, a crazy expensive brand. I went into a Moncler store while my husband and I were in Japan last year, and he and I both on that Japan trip saw so many people wearing Moncler. It is such a cool brand. It is so expensive. To resell a piece, if I were to find one at a thrift store, I would probably have a heart attack because they resell for hundreds of dollars. They are another puffer brand, kind of similar to Mackage, and they are crazy, but to find one would be an instant couple $100s in your pocket. So I wanted to make sure you guys at least are aware of this brand because it's a great one to know. Next up is number 14, Perfect Moment. This brand I just recently found out, I think is owned by, is it Nick Jonas? I think so. I didn't realize that they were at least partial owners of this brand, but Perfect Moment really specializes in skiing, snowboarding gear, really kind of bold pieces, very interesting. Some of them are even like full on like jumpsuits, but like for snowboarding, what are those called? Like bibs maybe? They have a crazy following. So any of their pieces will resell for hundreds of dollars. Again, super expensive, great brand to know. If you have never heard of it, you need to know Perfect Moment because I'm sure one day you'll see it or you'll remember that you saw it and you won't pick it up and you will kick yourself later for it. Number 15 is Cotopaxi. This is another kind of like outdoorsy brand, and I'm specifically looking at puffers from them. Again, coats are going to be across the board. Any coat from any of these brands is probably going to do really well. But Cotopaxi also, their backpacks for like hiking and fall and winter kind of like activities, their backpacks resell for around $100, which is kind of crazy, but something I would be on the lookout for. Number 16 is Scotty Vest. This is a brand that has sold really quickly for me in the past, but this is also something I would look at jackets and coats from. Might sell for around $50, sometimes more, but still a pretty consistent seller for around $50. Number 17 is Patagonia. I have to talk about Patagonia when we're talking about fall and winter. Their coats, their jackets, things that are more substantial from them will resell for over $100, especially for like a puffer coat or a down jacket, things like that. So Patagonia, have to mention it. Can't not mention Patagonia in a fall and winter brands list. Brand number 18 is Icebreaker. Icebreaker makes a lot of really nice like base layer pieces. They have wool in them. They also have more substantial like sweaters and things like that. A lot of their pieces resell for good money, $35 and up, around $50 too if you find a more substantial piece, sometimes even closer to $100. Depends on what you find, but Icebreaker is definitely a brand that I love to pick up, especially in fall and winter. Number 19 is Vuori. This is another activewear brand similar to the Lululemon Aloe Yoga vein, but Vuori I feel like has been very popular lately, and to find a more substantial piece from them, a jacket, a coat, we're looking at $75 and up. So I love to find that brand. Number 20 is Aaron Crafts or Aaron Crafts Market. This is a very cool brand. Like these are Irish made sweaters that you can find that are usually chunkier knits. They have intricate knitting to them. They're chunky. And almost all of them, at least in my experience, have sold for over $75. So they are just sweaters usually that I find, but will sell for almost $100 all the time. So that's a great sweater brand to know. I love finding this brand. Then number 21 is Stio, which I did not realize that this was a nice brand. I had no idea. I'm sure I've left this brand behind before, but Stio, their puffers resell for over $100. So again, a lot of coats will resell for great money if you know what you're looking for. Stio, that is one I would not sleep on. Number 22 is Aviator Nation. And I felt like for a moment Aviator Nation might have fallen off a little bit, but I feel like they've had a resurgence. And their sweatshirts, even just a plain sweatshirt from them with like the Aviator Nation kind of rainbow going on, will sell for around $100. I also just saw Oprah Winfrey posted a picture of herself wearing a full Aviator Nation sweatsuit, and I was like, girl, if it's one of Oprah's favorite things, then it's something you should be aware of. Aviator Nation, a lot of pieces will resell for $100 or more, depending on how substantial they are. It would just keep going up. Number 23 is Fear of God, and some Fear of God pieces are crazy. Like right now, their sweat shorts I see selling all over the place for $50. A pair of shorts. That's great. If you find a sweatshirt from them, depending on what you're finding, and also if you find a jacket from them, shoes from them, those pieces would do really well, like over $100. Fear of God is one to be on the lookout for. Brand 24, Frank and Eileen, a lot of pieces from this brand just do uncharacteristically well. Like button downs from this brand can sell for $50 or more. Lots of Frank and Eileen pieces sell for great money. It's one of those brands I'm constantly looking for. And again, it's brand tag, pretty unassuming if you don't know what you're looking for. Brand number 25 is one that I will add to this list with a caveat, and it is Kuhl, Kuhl. I do not suggest picking up everything from this brand. Not everything from this brand will sell well. But if you pick up a jacket from this brand, it will typically sell for $50 or more, and I think that's worth talking about. Brand number 26 is Vivea. I love Vivea. I've worked with Vivea in the past as well, but I have been really shocked lately at how well the shoes resell from Vivea. If you find boots from them, if you find even like some of their just flats resell for really good money, like $50 and up. So this is a brand that's very similar to Rothy's in that it's washable, made from recycled materials, but they resell for great money. So I would keep an eye out for Vivea shoes heading into fall and winter. Brand number 27 is Danner, and Danner boots sell for great money. And anything in this kind of even category of looking like a Danner boot, I've sold some Corcoran, I think, company boots that look like Danner boots, and those sold for like $75, $100. This style, this kind of more like grungy, outdoorsy style is very popular and sells for great money, and I would keep it on the radar. 28, Thursday Boot Company. I've sold many boots and shoes from Thursday Boot Company for great money. A lot of them retail for like $400 or so the resale on them just depends, but around $100 maybe for a pair of boots, maybe less than that for a pair of shoes, but really good brand, again, to know. Number 29, Red Wing boots, Red Wing shoes. If you don't know this brand, that's not good. You should know this brand. Red Wing boots, especially if you find them, can resell for over $100, sometimes more than that, depending on condition and style, sometimes hundreds of dollars. Red Wings, really great shoes to know. And so I have a couple shoes here in a row because I got inspired. Number 30 for fall and winter, Birkenstock clogs, especially like Birkenstocks in general, especially if they're in great condition, can sell for good money. The clog is so hot right now, and the clog for fall and winter is just a classic staple in a wardrobe. The clog will sell for around $50 and up, and it just depends on what style you find, but a Boston clog from Birkenstock is a classic fall staple wardrobe piece and so nice. And then talking about more clogs, Brand 31 is Rothy's, but I'm not talking about like a pointed toe flat. I'm not talking about the little like sneaker Rothy's. Those ones, those are not selling great. What I'm talking about are their clogs. Their clogs, I want a pair, and that's why I know that these resell well, because I cannot find them for less than like $75, $100 on the resale market. Rothy's clogs resell for around $100. Absolutely crazy. But there's also other styles from them. Anything that's more recent will do better than things that are older, like those other styles I had mentioned. Like a Mary Jane from Rothy's will sell for $50, sometimes more. But yeah, the clogs, if I could find a clog in my size, I would be a happy woman. Brand number 32 is Hoka. The newer the style, the better shape that they're in, the better, but they'll resell for around $50 and up. I know a lot of thrift stores around me are really marking up the Hoka. I feel like they're charging $20, $30 for Hokas all the time. And so I know that this will be a little harder probably to find ones in good condition that aren't marked up, but if you do, Hokas can resell for $50 and more. Number 33 is the Row. The Row is premium quality, high quality, super expensive. It's actually owned by the Olsen twins. So Mary Kate and Ashley, they own this brand, super expensive brand. Very nice quality, will resell for hundreds of dollars. If you're to find a purse, a leather purse from them, I saw a leather purse sell the other day on eBay for $4,000. Insane. So this is one that I want you to be aware of just in case you find it, because things like Prada and Gucci, obviously those things, if you found them, would be amazing, but you might not know the row. That is such a different kind of branding. It's very subtle. It's very, it flies under the radar. I definitely want you to be aware of it though, because if you find it, man, I want you to know what it is. Number 34 is Napapijri. I could be butchering that. Napapijri. Napapijri? I'll give you, the brand is on the screen. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right at all, but if you find a more substantial piece from them, I would bypass t-shirts, things like that, but sweaters, jackets, around $100 for those sorts of pieces. And because of me making this brands list, I was out thrifting the other day and I found a Napapijri little kids piece, a little fleece sweater that should resell for around $50. It was like a size like 2T or something crazy. But because it sounded familiar from this brands list, I found one and I think I bought it for $1.99, something crazy. This is why I make these videos, for that exact situation, but it happened to you instead of to me. So great brand, take a look at it. Number 35 is Filson. Filson is a great brand. I think is this made in Oregon? I feel like it's somewhere, maybe it's Colorado. It's somewhere on the West Coast, but everything from this brand will sell for great money. I've sold a scarf before for 40, 50 bucks. And I want to highlight too, their leather gloves resell for $100. Resell for $100. Insane. Their jackets, I mean, they're going to be 100 plus for sure. Scarves, 50 bucks. Great brand to know. Filson, it also, I feel like, is really unassuming personally. I don't think I would ever know that Filson was an amazing brand if I did not make these lists. Number 36 is Alpenrock. Alpenrock is one of those brands that I've found one time and I dream about it ever since. I found a new tags jacket and sold for like $200 in like one day. Fast selling brand, really sought after. Plain long sleeve shirts from this brand will resell for 50 bucks, which I feel like is a great testament to how good this brand is. Outerwear will resell for $100 plus. So I'm always on the lookout for that. Next up is Freefly. Freefly is a great kind of activewear brand. Again, I think this is maybe made in Colorado as well, something on the West Coast. And this brand won't resell for as much as some of these other brands, but it sells really fast. So I wanted to include it for fall and winter. Finding leggings, finding a sweatshirt, a long sleeve, 25, 50 bucks, somewhere in that range, but it will sell probably within a day or two. I've never had Freefly sit for longer than a day in my closet. It's really sought after. And then we have Tuckernuck. I love Tuckernuck. I've made a whole list about brands that are sold at Tuckernuck that resell for great money. It has great dresses, jackets, coats, especially if we're talking about like a fall and winter dress, even something that's longer, a maxi length, long sleeves. A lot of those are reselling for around $100. Same thing with jackets and coats. Great brand to know. Next brand is Haflinger, which are these amazing wool, I guess a clog kind of, again, it's a lot of slippers more so. Like people don't use them to go out and about usually. It's more like in the house, a slipper brand. If you find a brand new pair, they resell for $100. If you find ones that are pre-owned, they'll usually resell for $35 to $60. But for a slipper, I think that is amazing. They're usually made out of wool. They have some interesting designs. I've sold quite a few pairs of these almost every time, I think, for $50 or more. And so I love that brand. I would always love to find more of those. Then we have J. Crew, which I would caution you against picking up J. Crew Factory. A lot of those pieces won't sell for nearly as much money, and you can tell if something is J. Crew or J. Crew Factory, because J. Crew will just have J. Crew on the label. J. Crew Factory will either say factory or it'll have dots underneath the J. Crew name itself. So those I would caution you against picking up. The factory pieces will not be worth as much money as normal J. Crew. They're more of like a diffusion portion of their brand. But if you find a coat or jacket from J. Crew itself, a lot of those can resell for around $100 too. It's crazy what you can get. But like a ladies' day coat from J. Crew or a nice long puffer coat, a lot of those will sell for great money. Next up is Bed Stew. Shoes and boots from Bed Stew do great, $50 plus. What I wasn't expecting from Bed Stew is I did not realize that they make bags, like purses, and their leather bags resell for $100, sometimes more, which I find crazy, but not something I was aware of. I just thought they made shoes and boots, but no, they also make accessories apparently. So also something to look for. And then Alex Mill, love this brand. I find Alex Mill sometimes, not super frequently, but I've been finding it more and more recently. So I think it's getting more popular and people are just recognizing it more often. But sweaters, jackets, cardigans from this brand, a lot of them will resell for around $100. I've only found short sleeve tops from this brand, and those pieces both sold for me for, I think, 50 bucks. I think I found a plain white t-shirt that sold for 40 bucks. It's crazy. Alex Mill is a great brand. Next up, I included this in the list. It's not necessarily a brand itself, but basically cashmere, anything made with cashmere will typically resell for around $50, 35 to 50, 35 on the low end. If you're finding Charter Club cashmere, even that would probably sell for $35. If you're finding something that's a great brand and cashmere, chef's kiss. That will be a great thing to resell. Cashmere is just one of those classic things that will resell really well. Literally, I'm wearing a cashmere sweater today and it's just so nice. Cashmere is just so high quality and people are frequently looking for cashmere and don't even care what brand it is. So I want to include cashmere on this brand list. Next up is Montbell. One I again came to see and realized was really nice when I was in Japan. Everyone was wearing a Montbell puffer jacket. Like everyone was wearing Montbell everything. And I was like, what is this brand? How do I not know about this brand? But then I looked it up. I found one upon my return to the United States right away after going to Japan. Montbell, their puffers, all these things will sell for $100 and more. If you find a down coat or down jacket from Montbell, it'll resell for hundreds of dollars. Another great one to know. Not one that I think everybody knows about. I didn't know about Montbell, but it's definitely something to be aware of. Then we have some jeans. Talking about fall and winter, we gotta talk about some jeans. We have Jenko. These jeans, I've talked about them for a few years now. They are kind of like very Y2K, baggy jeans. I just saw Hustle at Home Mom find a pair of these and was wearing them. Hilarious, love her. But I've been talking about these because, especially if you find ones that have embroidery on them, the embroidered ones can sell for hundreds of dollars. I have sold a full length embroidered pair of jeans that I think they sold for $200. And I've also found just a plain pair that was like a more cargo style, sold those for over $100. Found a pair of embroidered Jenko cargo shorts. Those sold for over $100. This is a great brand to know. You want to be aware of this and you can really make good money if you find ones, especially with the embroidery. Then we have D squared 2. I don't know if it's D squared with like not saying the 2 at the end. It might just be D squared. I don't know. But this brand, their jeans resell for $100, sometimes more. Almost all jeans. Like I didn't see a single jean not selling for $100, which is crazy. Not a brand I see a lot, but D squared, definitely something you want to look at. Look at that tag, D squared. I really never hear about it except for when I do research. So hopefully you'll be able to find it now too. Then we have Acne Studios. I found this brand a few times, but Acne, especially heading into fall and winter, this is the time when you can really thrive on picking up some sweaters, some jackets, some coats, even jeans from them. All of those categories I just mentioned, $100 plus. Great brand to pick up, especially in fall and winter, especially if it's a newer piece from Acne. I've sold some vintage pieces from Acne as well, but that's a great piece to know. Then we have Diesel, which I'm thinking I have sold some great sweaters from Diesel for around $100, sometimes $70 and up. But Diesel is one of those brands that is more premium, more luxury, but some pieces from it don't do as well as others. So it's one of those things you would definitely need to look up what you find. But even like I had a really kind of like loose knit kind of distressed sweater and it sold for almost $100. So Diesel is one that I would at least look up. Then we have number 49, Marmot, another great jacket puffer brand. I love puffers. I love selling them. I love finding them. They pack down really well. They're just really lightweight, great pieces to find. Marmot jackets and coats, a lot of them resell for over $100. I found one in the bins not too long ago that my husband claimed for himself, but I could have resold that for a great amount of money. I might still steal it from him and then resell it. But anytime you find Marmot, especially if it's in great condition, it's great to know and great to pick up. And the last brand on the list is what I want you guys to supply down below in the comments. That's 49 brands that I've given you. I love it when we help each other out, when we share knowledge. So if there's a brand that you think deserves to be on this list, leave it in the comments down below because there is so much to go around. If you look at the back end of any Goodwill, of any thrift store in your area, the countless Goodwill outlets around and Salvation Army outlets, there is so much excess. There's so much to go around, and sharing knowledge is not a form of weakness. It's actually a form of strength, and that you're not scared of helping others. I would love it if we would all help each other out. And if you know of a brand, share it down below. That doesn't hurt you when you help somebody else. So take a second and be a kind person today and share a brand that has been great for you in fall and winter, or the one that you would add to this list in the comments. I really appreciate you guys and this community that we have here. And also, if you want to check out anything from Quince, between the cashmere and the luggage and the bedding and the shoes, I literally own so many random things from Quince, and I love all of them. I've been super impressed with their quality. Then please follow the links that I have down below, and that will take you to their website, and you can give it a little shop around and see how great they are just for yourself. Like, I only stand by products I really believe in on my channel, and this is one that that's a dream to work with them. If you guys enjoyed this brand's video, I have got a whole playlist of more of them, so I will link that as well. You can watch that after this. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and until the next video, bye.